Howdy folks, my name is ReadyOpco, and welcome back to part number 4 of Let's Play Pokémon LeafGreen. In the very last part, we took on the first gym leader, Brock, in Pewter City, made our way through route number 3, and up to the entrance of Mount Moon. So let's go ahead and get our Spelunker's license, and dive right on in. However, before we get started with things in Mount Moon properly, let me take you on a little detour, show you what I did in the intervening time between this part and the last. We took the time to catch only one Pokemon in the intervening time, Clefairy. With its magical and cute appeal, it has many admirers. It is rare and found only in certain areas. So now that we've got one of the Pokemon in Mount Moon, we only have to worry about one of the other ones that is living in here in order to get all of them.
What? I'm waiting for my friends to find me here.
Well, I don't know that waiting in a cave for your friends is really the best move, especially a cave full of other Pokemon trainers, but this is going to give us an opportunity to actually see Clefairy and a nice one in battle again, which is most excellent. So Clefairy, which I had caught in the intervening times, is a base normal type, just like Jigglypuff. As a matter of fact, it's very similar to Jigglypuff in that I believe they both evolve with the use of a Moonstone. And I'm not 100% sure which one of them is better between the two, but what I do know is that Clefairy has an extremely low chance to actually appear as a wild Pokemon here in Mount Moon, so that is why I definitely took the time to go ahead and capture it off-screen so that I wouldn't have to spend forever running around in here just to be able to get it. And what that does mean is that there is still another Pokemon waiting inside Mount Moon for us to be able to capture, and I believe it is only capturable on these sub-floors, if you will. These floors that have ladders and such. And this is going to be our first encounter. We, Team Rocket, are Pokemon gangsters. We strike fear with our strength. Our first encounter with a Team Rocket member who would go on to be, basically part of Pokemon forever. The interactivity with Team Rocket in the anime definitely, solidified their position going forward. And I have completely forgotten that Rock-type moves are not effective towards Ground-type Pokemon, so, actually, I think in this particular situation, the only other option that I have is to switch to Hazard and start hitting it with Scratch. Technically, I think Ember might even do a little bit more damage, but considering I only have a normal type move on Hazard just as well, I'm going to go ahead and use Tackle on Nice One. Go ahead and clean things up real easy. It's going to make the battle take a little bit longer, of course, but I think that we are okay with that. It's going to make sure that the majority of the experience goes to Nice One, and is going to ding level 14 for us. Do I get anything special at level 14? No, I still have to wait just a moment. But I actually had failed to mention that I leveled up Nice One a little bit in between parts, although, I mean, that is kind of expected, grind up your Pokemon just a little tiny bit to make sure that they're not exploding into treats in the next area. I mean, it was only level 9 when we ended the last episode off, so not looking to move forward with a level 9 Geodude. Instead, raise it up to level 12 so that we could get things moving. It also gives it the ability to learn Rock Throw. I believe at level 11 is when it actually learns Rock Throw. And Rock Throw is going to be one of those same type attack bonus moves that I was mentioning beforehand, as Geodude is both the Rock and Ground type. The Rock type Rock Throw is going to be super effective against these creatures. It's really, really helpful. Rock type moves are also special effective against flying type Pokemon, so the Zubats in this cave are going to be easy pickings. I blew it! Yeah, I bet you did. You were supposed to be guarding this secret treasure over here. But instead, the secret treasure that we have indeed found instead is going to be the other new Pokemon in Mount Moon, the one that I did not cover. This here is Paris. And the reason that I did not cover it is because you specifically have to go into the mid-levels, and I didn't recognize any way down here without trainers, although I'm now realizing I totally could. Oh, of course I'm going to get a critical hit on it before I can capture it, but at least we got a chance to see it. I'm going to make the effort to capture one of those Paris during one of the cutout battles, and I will show you whenever that happens. Paris is going to actually be super useful for our adventure. Hopefully we will get another chance to catch one before I actually make it out of Mount Moon, otherwise I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time just to be able to get one. I promise you that Paris is actually not that terribly useful. Paris is a bug. Oh, I was trying to avoid you.
What? Don't sneak up on me.
Okay, Gary Oak impersonator. But Paris is a bug grass type Pokemon, which is not in particular the most useful thing in the world to us at this moment. Although, actually, technically the grass typing might actually be a little bit helpful for the gym that is coming up, but no, we're going to ignore the opportunity to catch Paris for that, as there is actually another grass type that we will be able to grab a little bit later that I think will be a better fit for our team in general. I'm actually really looking forward. These 3 Pokemon, at least for sure, Hazard, Nice One, and then our third member, I think those ones are the certain ones. Those are the core key members. It's kind of the whole part of the early game strategy, if you will. In order to be able to actually defeat these early gyms without too much issue, or without having to over-level your Pokemon, I think that those 3 team members are definitely going to be the ones that we will carry forward into the Pokemon League. But I'm excited to see what other team members we might have the opportunity to grab here. And excellent, reaching level 16, Nice One is going to learn Magnitude. I think I'm actually going to replace the Mud Sport, because that is otherwise useless to me at the moment. So for getting Mud Sport and learning Magnitude is a super helpful thing to do. Magnitude, being a ground type move, unlocks the other half of Geodude's same type attack bonus. So we now have Rock Throw as a rock type move, and we have Magnitude as a ground type. And that is going to be very useful heading forward. Magnitude having 30 available PP is an extremely useful technique, not to mention that it gets the ground same type attack bonus, as well as unlocking a few new special effective matchups. It's also super helpful because where Rock Throw is not effective towards ground types, as a matter of fact, Magnitude, also being a ground type, is a neutral effect resistance, which is actually super fantastic. It makes it gives Nice One the ability to take out most of the Pokemon that actually appear here in the cave, which is super useful. Otherwise, you have to basically tackle them 30 to 40 times to actually punch through the defense and the otherwise effect resistance that you get from being a rock/ground type. So it makes things much less of a hassle, and you guys know me, I'm always about simplifying things. You gotta simplify the game state. It makes things a lot easier for you. I think that's probably a holdover from, so I'm a big card game player, just in general. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day on a competitive level. I went to like regionals and YCS events and all that fun stuff. And then once I moved on from Yu-Gi-Oh!, I guess I would say that I'm still stuck with Shadowverse, for sure. I play me a heck of Shadowba, and I genuinely enjoy that game, but it definitely, the things that you learn from card games definitely track over to playing other video games. That is a for sure thing. It's actually kind of weird because the concepts don't necessarily track one-to-one, and yet you're still getting in your head these things like, okay, I gotta maintain turn advantage, I gotta maintain like you're trying to maintain hand advantage, but in an RPG like this, it's not exactly the same. It's kind of funny how that ends up working. You spend so many hundreds of hours playing card games that it really infects your ability to think about everything, which is really crazy stuff. I think it's so cool how the amount of time that we can spend on hobbies and stuff like that actually changes the way that our brain works on a certain level. I think that is one of the coolest things. And I think that this is our first opportunity to encounter one of those. That is a rare candy. That is an item. It's basically a level for a Pokemon in an item. I'm starting to regret not purchasing any repels with my available money, but I was going to say I think I made the better decision, but now I'm really regretting not picking up any repels. I should have gotten some. Oh, I thought you had an item for me. In that case, let me read your dialogue. Hi, I'm excavating for fossils here under Mount Moon. Sometimes Brock of Pewter Gym lends me a hand. It's actually really nice of Brock, helping out with his rock-type Pokemon. That's actually a cool thing that you get to see brought up in later games, is Pokemon helping out with like construction and mining projects and stuff like that, because of course they would, Realistically, they have a bond with their trainer, they want to help them out in the same way that like a dog has a bond with its owner. And in that same way, they get genuine satisfaction out of helping their human out. So it's really cool to imagine, like, Brock telling his Onyx to, like, dig holes through a mountain for a mining operation or something like that. It is really neat to think about, and it is something that I wish I haven't consumed nearly as much of the Pokemon anime as I wish that I had, because I want to see more cool instances of stuff like that, using Pokemon as like a real force in the world, I guess, if you will. As a matter of fact, one of the gym leaders that we come up to later mentions that he used some Pokemon in the Pokemon War, which is a crazy concept to think of, the people of the Pokemon world going to war, but realistically, of course you would want the type of Pokemon that he uses if you were in war. They would be, like, one of the most useful. It's definitely cool when they do make the effort to put in little, like, real-life, I guess, uses of Pokemon like that, but I wish they did it just a tiny bit more, you know? I think that that would be really cool. This is really useful. TM46 here, Thief, is a very, very useful Dark-type move that we're going to be holding on to for a while, and I could have avoided this Rocket Grunt, but nah. We're pulling a big job here. Get lost, kid! I think I won't. As a matter of fact, you have valuable experience locked inside your Pokemon in your team. I'm going to be claiming that for my own. And thank you for sending out Zubat first against my nice one, because that means that I can drop some rocks on its noggin and move right on. That was a really awkward way to phrase that. You can't use on 2 times in one sentence following each other like that, man. You gotta respect the English language a little bit more, and that also means pronouncing the T in respect. Nah, you gotta throw some respect on it, you know how it is. And this is also excellent. This is, I believe... No, I don't think this is the first time that we've seen Ekans. I think that we saw it on a couple of the trainers that were populating Route number 3, but now that we actually have access to Nice One's Magnitude, it is going to be super useful. I guess I should explain a little bit about how Magnitude works. It has a random chance of rolling a number, I believe it is 5 through 12. I'm not 100% sure on what the actual numbers for Magnitude are, but it changes the base damage of the move depending on what number you roll. So I believe rolling a 10 like that means that it has base damage of 100, which is insanely powerful for a random ground-type move. And ground-type moves are special effective against poison types, such as Ekans, so really useful. Did you come to explore the cave too? Well, I mean, realistically it's my only route of progression through the world, considering that the only other options are to head back through Viridian City, or head back through Viridian Forest, to Viridian City, out of Pewter City. So, exploring the cave, not so much. Chasing down essential story progress, a little bit more accurate. But, you know, I guess we are exploring the cave in some sense too, right? I mean, there is a lot of stuff in here. We've gotten quite a few items. I guess I can't totally complain against this kid's point of view, you know, exploring the cave. But then, I must mention, caves are dangerous. Caves are super, super dangerous, just, like, in general. If you don't believe me that caving is dangerous, if you've never heard of a specific incident, well, let me enlighten you, folks, about something that is truly terrible. So I'm kind of sorry for foisting this cursed knowledge upon you, but on the other hand, I think it's, you know, useful to be cognizant of these kinds of fatal accidents as they occur in real life. What I'm speaking of course, is an incident by the name of Nutty Putty Cave. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you to look that up if you are interested in knowing about it further. I'd rather prefer not to speak about it here, because it is a really tragic, sad story, genuinely. And if you are interested in that kind of thing, about the sort of dangers that caving can have for you, yeah, definitely look into that, because it has put me away from ever wanting to cave ever, basically. The kind of people that do that are, in my mind, even more insane than base jumpers. You know, the people that jump off of, like, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that people have even jumped off of, like, the Stratosphere and the Space Needle, tall buildings like that, which is absolute insanity to me. That is an extremely dangerous thing that you can do. But as far as I'm concerned, people that actually, like, take the time to dig into caves and, like, crawl into spaces that are only about as wide around as they are, those are the true insane people. Because realistically, I mean, if you fail a base jump, there's at least some chance of survival. Failing a caving expedition? Kind of a much more difficult situation. It's generally impossible for people to dig through thousands and thousands of tons of rock to save you, if even that were an option, you know? So, it's not something necessarily super fun to think about, but on the other hand, it's important to keep in mind when you have games out here being like, oh, are you exploring the cave too? And you got another little kid in the cave. You know, basically know your cave before you go inside of it, and that's a general rule for any sort of orifice that you go putting any part of your body in, whether it be a cave or anything else. Make sure you know what it is about before you just go stomping on in. This is a really terrible and classless move not to examine your surroundings a little bit, you know? Wow, I'm actually extremely surprised there haven't been any random battles. I'm going to no longer comment upon how there seem to be no random battles, because as long as I don't talk about it, the game will not punish me. That is the idea that I'm going with. As long as I just keep my mouth shut about the occurrence of random battles, we will be safe from the random battles. That is what I am going to choose to believe, because I made the mistake. I really should have put some of the money that I was spending on recovery items into getting some repels. I'm pretty sure they're available to you as soon as you beat Brock. I may be mistaking things, and they might not even be available in the Pokemart yet, but I'm fairly certain that I should have been able to get some repels. I'm fairly certain I remember using them in my practice run of this area, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, that is definitely my mistake. I will definitely be remedying that in the future. Especially in areas that we have already caught all of the available Pokemon, such as this one. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, I still need to catch me one of those mushroomy guys, don't I? One of those Paras. Then again, I don't think that I've actually run into another one since that very first one, and of course I'm going to get a critical on every single Pokemon that I want to catch, because that just seems to be what happens to me every single time. It's happened on the Jigglypuffs, it happened on the Pikachu, it happened on the Paras. Just, I'm never gonna get critical hits when they actually matter. I'm only gonna get critical hits to kill Pokemon that I otherwise am trying to catch. Like, I'm really hoping that I get another opportunity to catch one of those Paras before we actually leave Mount Moon. I'm actually kind of hoping that this very last stretch here will provide a couple more random battles for me to be able to get an opportunity to catch one of them, because they will be very, very helpful for our future endeavors. Reviving Pokemon from them will earn us huge riches. He's talking about the fossils that they are finding inside Mount Moon, which is crazy to me that... I mean, I guess I'm doubling back on that, because what I was going to say, it's crazy to me to think of the idea of the developers coming up with the idea of reviving ancient Pokemon, reviving like fossils and stuff, and then I'm sitting here thinking about it, like, wasn't Jurassic Park a movie in like the 80s or something? Yeah, I know, the youngster in me is popping right on out being like, dude, isn't that like an old people movie? But on a more realistic level, I mean, shoot dude, I don't know when the original Jurassic Park came out, but either way, the idea of reviving things from like ancient materials has been around for quite a while. You know, I'm actually kind of interested for my own purposes. I am curious what the first story that had to do with reviving ancient material like that was. I mean, shoot, wasn't Jurassic Park like a book or something before? It was a novel before it was a movie? Dude, I don't know. Oh wow, there was actually a moonstone on this rock. I kind of walked over here not expecting there to be anything there, and as a matter of fact, it is a second moonstone. That's actually really cool because I believe that is my second one. I'm taking the time to check here. Oh, I hope you guys can't hear the yard work going on outside my apartment window. Apparently they decided that today was the best day to mow the lawns. So yeah, that is indeed our second moonstone, so that technically means that if you really wanted to, you could have a team with both Clefairy's evolution and Jigglypuff's evolution on it right now, which would be kind of goofy, kind of fun. Hey, stop. I found these fossils. They're both mine. Okay, nerd face. That's kind of rude though, like, I found them. They're both mine. Like, I don't know. I've been putting in good work. I've been fighting the Team Rocket goons and all that fun stuff. I feel like I deserve a little bit of a reward for my decisions. Although that is some straight up, like, nice guy logic, isn't it? Like, oh, I saved you from the attacking Pokemon Team Rocket guys. Give me the fossil. It is, you know, you should always do kind things for the sake of being kind. And even realistically, if you have to think of it as doing kind things to make yourself feel better, I don't think that that's necessarily selfish. I think that most people realistically probably feel that way, and even if they don't consciously realize it, a lot of people only do nice things because it makes them feel good. But where people, I feel, get the idea wrong is that thinking that they are in the wrong for only doing good things because it makes them feel good. It feels like the phrasing is almost actually like a little, what's the word? Like misleading. The phrasing is a little misleading. Or perhaps the specific phrasing has such negative connotations that it is kind of hard to get around this idea that, you know, you should do nice things to just 'cause. But the reality of things is that no one actually does nice things just to do nice things. Or in the very least, very, very few people do. But I think that's okay, you know? As long as people are doing nice things in the first place, does it even matter the reasoning? We'll each take a fossil. No being greedy. Looks like I've got a choice of one of the 2 fossils that this gentleman has found, and unfortunately we are only going to be able to take one of them before moving forward, so we have the Dome fossil on the left, and the legendary Helix fossil on the right. Now, most everyone would tell you to take the Helix fossil, praise Helix, all that fun stuff, but have you seen the comparison between Kabutops and Omastar? It's not even a comparison, because Kabutops is way cooler. Like, infinitely cooler. Oh, and I seem to have forgotten that my nice one needs to actually be healed up, so I'm going to get to use one of the antidotes that I purchased. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I got at least one antidote for free in Viridian Forest, so that might not even technically be the antidote. And we're also going to use a potion, make sure that nice one doesn't take a fall in the very first area we bring it through. Oh, and it looks like I get that antidote right back for free, so that's actually really, really convenient. And I believe that this is going to be my last level where I'm going to get an opportunity to catch Paris, so I'm going to do a little cut, and I will meet you guys when I have caught my grass bug type. Cool, it only took me 2 Pokeballs to actually be able to catch the Paris, which was the first Pokemon that I actually ran into on this floor, so that took a lot less time than I figured it was going to take. Unfortunately, our nice one came out of the battle with some paralysis, which is truly unfortunate. Paris burrows to suck on tree roots. The mushrooms on its back grow by drawing nutrients from the bug host. So Paris is actually based on the cordyceps fungus, if I'm remembering correctly, which is a type of fungus that actually invades the bodies of bugs and causes them to move to the... like, basically controls their central nervous system, if I'm remembering correctly, and makes them move, so... I'm going to name Paris a very simple, goofy name, kind of... he's kind of going to, or rather she, is going to fulfill a similar role in our party as Failsafe, just kind of a backup. But we might actually get a little more use out of Paris before we continue, and it looks like that is actually going to drop us right out into the next route here, route number 4, so I think that this is a perfect place to go ahead and end things off. So, I hope you guys have very much enjoyed part number 4 of Let's Play Pokemon LeafGreen, and that you will be looking forward to part number 5, where we get to finally move on to route number 4 and our next city, Cerulean City. I hope you guys will be looking forward to it. My name is Reddy Opko. Hope to be catching you there.